Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? But the party was nice, the party was pumping. And everybody having a ball. Until the fellas started in Yo, good morning. It is 6:31. It is June 11th. Hopefully everyone's feeling well. Good to be back. Day two. Let's take a look at the disclosure and get to today. Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. This is the 630 Club. This 630 Club was established during the pandemic in 2020 when no one knew what to do. So what did all the experienced traders? We all collaborated together to figure out how to approach the market midterm, actively, long-term. And I think everyone did a pretty damn good job buying the dip in 2020 versus running for the hills, because we all learned in 2007, 2008, long-term, big corrective phases help your average cost. But ultimately, if you trade for a living, you better have a really good approach, a good process, and discipline. And it always changes. And the more you're prepared, the better you can react. Anyway, let me say good morning to some of my dogs around the world. What is up as everybody's waking up? We got Blair in the house. Let's do it. We got Jose. What up, Jose? We got Space Specialist. Cheers to you. Hey, the iced coffee's back. We got Stan the man in the house. We got Jana. We got Greg. We got Bassett. We got EQ. We got a little bit of everyone. Well, what up, Dan? By the way, Dan, you sent me a lot of nice messages while I was laid up in Cornell in the hospital with tubes coming out of this side. Where is it? No, this side. Here, and here. So a lot of nice vibes, a lot of love from the community, which is cool. So the question is, what do we do today? If we remember, we walked in yesterday, the futures are down 14 handles, pretty much the same. The weakness was absorbed, and there was a lot of red to green type moves, which is one of the things that I like to do. I like to buy things versus a level, let it go green, see where it goes, and make some nice cash flow. But anyway, let's hook up some charts. Let's get moving here. Share screen. Let's go share screen. Let's go entire screen. Let's go here. And ultimately, what does this look like to everybody out there? What does this look like every Saturday? I'm always like, hey guys, take 10 minutes and, look at your charts. And every time we do that, I was like, Red Dog, why do you do that every Saturday? I'm like, why not? I can give you a cheat sheet of candlesticks, which create charts, chart patterns that make you money, moving average cheat sheet, and MACD cheat. Why not? Take 5 minutes every weekend. That's it. 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. Anyway, here's your 8-day moving average. We held this yesterday. We held this 532.50. And you have a nice little bull flag here. So yesterday was a pretty good trading day. Now today you walk in, SPYs are down $1.24. This is ahead of the Fed tomorrow. The Fed is tomorrow, and so is Avago. And a lot of my macro notes that I read every morning, they're starting to say that everyone's taking like a who cares approach. Who cares about the Fed? It's a no landing environment. It's not a soft landing. It's not a hard landing. It's not stagflation. It's not Goldilocks. It's just the market's cruising along. They say a recession is a recession and a depression is if you lose your job, right? It all depends on where you stand. Same thing with like my heart surgery. Like, oh, it's routine heart surgery. It's not a big deal. You'll be great. But if you're the one who's got tubes sticking out of your neck, sitting there in bed, can't move on painkillers and, and something coming out of your groin, it's more than just a routine. But anyway, at this point, the street knows, or, they're not going to raise rates. The question is a one or two nominal cuts. And, unemployment is cruising along. That means a lot of people putting their money into their 401ks. There's a lot of flows, and, until they control spending and until something materially changes, market's been just cruising right along, and we're almost into the summer where, it could even cruise along even more than that. So anyway, this is, 532.50. Maybe you could buy the SPYs Versa. It goes green again, and we continue to build. Qs also look like a bull flag. 461 is that level. You could use 461, which is right here. As long as we hold above there, you can't get too bearish. And then finally yesterday, if you've been tactical with the IWM and the small caps, at least there was a setup. You shouldn't have been long them anyway. And then yesterday they did show some relative strength and went from red to green. Not saying it's going to start a new active sequence, but if you were out of the IWMs, and the IWMs have been pretty horrific starting from here, yesterday you could have been long versus an area, reclaimed 200, and now the moving averages will probably be some kind of resistance. So let's real quickly talk Apple. All right. I've been long Apple pretty much, for the past multiple weeks since earnings. Yesterday, Apple was up 90 cents. I trimmed a lot of my shares into that, knowing it's a binary event, that anything could happen prior to 1 o'clock. So I did pretty well with all my shares. I just, as of now, lost in my options. I had 197 half calls on, thinking maybe we go up $4 or $5 if finally Apple would actually have something wow. Instead, to me, I watched the entire thing, and it was just fine. I have my my iPhone. I'm going to get a new one in the fall. Every feature on there is enhanced. Apple to me is the most reliable phone. It's everything you need in life, from your emails to your photos to your business to your social. So, it's going to be just a matter of time now. Apple yesterday failed. Apple yesterday, could not hold 194. Apple yesterday, just, after a move from 180.40 to 197, wasn't enough to take out this double top area and give you an exciting move to 202. This weekend, I'm like, are we going to see 202 or are we going to see 187? At this point, it's a lot. It's just more consolidation. You had a move. I said we could even pull down to here and still be fine for something later this month, later this, in the fall. Who even knows? Maybe the fall the trade happens. But for now, the binary event's over. We'll see how it goes. Maybe Apple goes from red to green today. You never know. 192.73. This is 192.15. So I'll look at it and then we'll see how it goes. Ultimately, it is what it is. I wasn't upset yesterday. I thought, it was a very good keynote. They have a lot of nice features. It wasn't wow, but Apple's never been wow. It's just strong and, quality. That's what, in my head, Apple is strong, quality, reliable. You can't leave home without it. Anyway, they want to hire me for their brand, they could do it. But as far as a trade, I'm going to probably lose on the options, but I'll make a lot of money at another point when there's a different active sequence. So, you remember I showed you guys the weekly chart of Apple too, where, I'm like, we could even pull back here, okay, because look at the size of this move in Apple. From here you came up to the top, got rejected, had to go from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, got rejected, back to the bottom of the range. So now what you probably want to do is you probably want to see, Apple hold higher. Like if it pulls back because all the fast money gets out, you want to see it maybe come in, come to here, and then perhaps go again. But at this point, we don't know. So Apple goes from my A list. It's now on my B- list because it's not as go-to status as it was. So unfortunately, in this market, there's not a lot of A+. You can get in there, get going, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, you talk about go-to status, you're talking Nvidia, and now Nvidia is post-split. So Nvidia looks, well, I guess they didn't really adjust the chart yet. What the hell's going on here? Why do they have that candle? Anyway, let's avoid that candle. So as of right now, if you look at Nvidia on the daily chart, post split, I don't know why it's doing that, but this is a 117. So if you were looking, just say you're looking for a new swing trade in Nvidia, yesterday post split, you have 117. So if you don't trade for a living and you don't trade that active, I would say you could be long Nvidia versus 117. Let it absorb a lot of the supply of the split, and then at some point it takes out 125.59. So if that's the way you want to do it, I'm going to trade it actively like a banshee because that's what I do. I trade actively. But if you are just say not trading for a living, and you're like, oh, now Nvidia's post split, I could buy 1,000 shares versus 100. I could buy 5,000 shares, or I could buy whatever it is. You now have 117. If Nvidia is going to be special and be the same Nvidia we've had for a while, you could buy versus 117, let it go sideways, and over time probably takes out 125.59 and continues. This was your gap up. It's a whole new chart. I'm just saying, people are like, what do I do with Nvidia now? Or is Nvidia going to be the same Nvidia was pre-split? Well, now post-split, you have 117. That's it. The semis is still strong, but they're not all created equal. You have LRCX, looks really good, right? LRCX, looks like it's making another move to highs. Wow, that's pretty cool. Look at Micron, wow, another, a little choppy as hell above the 8. It looks like it's going to continue. SMHs themselves, another bull flag above the 8. They've been riding it higher. So the semis are still go-to status. They're not all created equal. AMD's been a pain in the butt. SMCI actually looks, to me, look at SMCI. This SMCI looks cute. It's been obviously out of play. When SMCI tried to get going with Nvidia making new all-time highs last week, it couldn't do it, and now it's getting pretty tight here. 1229 is a high. This was 972. If the semis and the market wants to be strong, maybe there's a trade in this, to take out 804, something like that, or you could be long versus 741. I bought some calls just in case it decided to wake up. So we'll see. Anyway, as far as like mega cap tech, I always like to have an order of names that I think can make higher lows and higher highs on their way back to maybe all-time highs. So I have, it's like my go-to list. It's an A list, a B list, a C list. And as of right now, Amazon's been doing much better. Amazon, to me, is something I will be looking at closer. Remember this descending trend line when I was in the hospital, broke above it, and yesterday you could have bought it red, went green, and actually had some power. So Amazon is trading better. That should be on the top of your focus list. Meta, trading better. Remember they said they're going to be spending all this on AI? Well, it's been in the same range since March. Okay, a lot of people played Meta to break above 482, and now look at this nice little bull flag. Okay, so maybe today you could buy it to go red to green, and at some point works its way into this area. So Meta and Amazon seem better. They, to me, are on a higher level of the list now than Apple because, Apple needs time to sift through, the binary event. Microsoft looks decent. Microsoft working its way higher also. So, out of those three names, we'll see if that continues. Okay, we'll see if they can continue to be bought red to green and then maybe even take out levels. If the market's going to be done this week and the Fed, is hawkish as whenever on Wednesday and they want to fail it, chances are these aren't going to act well. But for now, Apple moves down the list. And then I think Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft are still better. Tesla's horrendous, to be honest. Yesterday, Tesla gave you a quick red to green move. A lot of people on the Alpha team made a lot of money. And then I was like, guys, Tesla's done the same thing every day since December, or not the same thing. It gives you a trade. A lot of traders love red to green. Shorts get squeezed. It gives you a trade down $1, up $1. You can make a few $1,000s. And then there's no more institutional support. There just really isn't. And now look at Tesla, still down here doing a whole lot of nothing. Okay, more looking like it's going to break below this than break above this. So just know that ever since this trade here in December, I always go back to this outside day breaking the trend. Tesla has been horrible. Tesla was awesome when it showed relative strength, when it led the market, when it was innovative, when there was a lot of, thoughts of illusions of grandeur. And now it doesn't even know what the hell it is right now. It's a glorified car company that doesn't have great sales, has diminishing revenues, and maybe they have some charging stations. Maybe Elon's going to get kicked out. Maybe they're not going to get kicked out. Maybe at some point there's going to be a lot of autonomous driving down the road. Maybe not. Anyway, everyone thought everyone's going to have an EV, no more gas, and now everyone, all of a sudden a few EVs, get stranded on the side of the road, and now nobody wants an EV. I have a hybrid, by the way, a hybrid Jeep. So anyway, yes, they went from red to green, and now if this were to break 173, I would not be actively long there, and maybe some people press shorts. So anyway, that's that. Yeah, he used to under promise and over deliver. Now he over promises and under delivers. That's why Elon's on the floor. The rally is getting a little narrow, so you have to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I will say the metals, very predatory action, horrible. Silver, not a focus anymore of mine. Silver was a focus here when it broke above 22 and went to this 27.24, and up here it's getting loose and wide and not great. Gold, the same thing. Gold looked like it was ready to have one more move, and then they kind of bagged everybody who trade gold, even though for the gold bugs out there who collect physical every single month, keep doing that. You'll be fine. But right here, when gold failed, it's just been a predatory trade where there's no rhyme or reason. And then, Bitcoin again failed at 71, 72. So they're not giving money away, and you have to be that much more specific. And if you do make money in the morning, protect your money. Don't, if you want to try and add to your day, risk 25% or a third. Don't buy something because something else is working. Try and trade what's working because it's very, very narrow. And there's a lot less muscle memory out there. When there's less muscle memory out there, meaning something closes strong, opens weak, or something closes really weak and opens strong, there's not a lot of continuity. So you don't need to, overdo it. Somebody's like, hey, Red Dog, look at Ford. I thought Ford was interesting. Ford, maybe they're going after some value car companies. So I did buy a little Ford yesterday. Maybe I'll buy a little bit of a dip. Look what GM did. Wow. Look at that clean breakout in GM. This isn't Tesla. This is GM. That's a nice move. So there are some setups that present themselves and go. You just got to do your homework and find them. Anyway, tomorrow is Fed Day. You have Avago coming out. Really nice chart. It's definitely priced for perfection. Here's this 1445 area. It's looking good tomorrow. They have earnings, so maybe you have some kind of option strategy in it. I do not, but this should be pretty important. It's a really big semi company. It's not just AI either. And we'll see what happens. Yesterday was an easy day to get chopped up, but there was also things to do. SPYs went down $1, up $1.50. You could have made money just trading the SPYs. Amazon went from down $1 to up $3. Meta went from down to up a bunch. Apple was noisy. Apple was probably my least of the trades, but it was something I was watching. But anyway, that's why I also take options, and those probably are not going to work. Not everything works in trading. You just need to know how to cut off your losers, quantify your risk, and when something's working, nail it. Even yesterday, Nvidia was a great trade. First hour, they got rid of the fast money. We were playing it for the split. And then finally, it showed its face. If you lost money in the first 20 minutes, you could revisit and go again. And we made a lot of money from 9:50 to about 11 o'clock. So it's good to be back. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for all the well wishes. Gonna see how my modified week goes. Gonna get stronger every day. Gonna continue to, not sweat the small stuff. So when something big like what happened to me on May 30th happens, you're able to tackle it, tackle problems. They were telling me, oh, you could have your heart surgery, June 28th, or you could have it May 30th. It's June 11th. I am done with it. Now I'm on the road to recovery. I could be like, nah, I want to wait. No, tackle your problems head on. Okay, the quicker you do it, the quicker you could get back to normal life, and the quicker you can learn and grow. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see what today brings. Good luck and be well, and I appreciate you. Have some gratitude in life because, happiness is based on gratitude. It's not based on success. Later, guys.